Are you ready?
Yeah,
I'm gonna put the steak on the table.
and listen, give me if I'm doing something wrong, you tell me I'm doing something
will.
wrong, and
Oh, I will.
I know you will.
Well, I can't afford you to do stuff wrong.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hanging out here with Tom in his venomous building. And recently, Tom put a video that has been garnering a lot of attention online on Facebook. And Tom is somebody whom I respect, who's got many, many years of handling venomous reptiles. And today, we are with one of the more famous venomous snakes for the wrong reasons. And the reason you put that video online was because you were sick of the BS, is what you were telling me.
Yeah, but I feel sorry. What I feel bad about is, and sorry about the piece of stuck shed on the side of its head. It's not a health thing, but it makes it look different than it is. But this is a cottonmouth. It was wild caught, a rescue
Okay.
in a neighborhood about 2 years ago that somebody dropped off here. And as you can see, I'm not doing anything, and neither is Cottonmouth. It just flicked my tongue with his hand. It wanted to know what I was and what I'm doing, and it wants to get off the table because it knows that there's people here.
Right.
But if you notice, it's not trying to bite. And these snakes do not chase human beings. They don't even want to bite a human being, as you can see. Now this one's nervous. There's a lot of people in here.
Mm-hmm.
But notice how I don't ever touch it on the top. Pick it up underneath.
Incredible.
Under the sides. If you pick it up, if my hand were on top of it and I grabbed it, it would turn into a whole different event.
So what I always enjoy dealing with you about, or talking with you about, is reptile behavior. You are something of a reptile behaviorist, just from the years.
Yeah, I'm an
you know-
ethologist.
Yeah, exactly. So, you are looking at non-verbal cues, obviously.
Yes.
This guy ain't
Sorry.
talking to us. I just react
He just
because
fell off the hook.
it is a cotton.
I know, but when you jump,
Yeah.
I'll make it bite.
Copy
Just
that.
so you know.
Well, yeah, that
It
was
did.
interesting.
You see how it paused at the bottom?
It did.
You know what you were going to do.
Gotcha.
Notice how I didn't move my leg and touch my knee almost.
See, I could have, and that's a great thing that we just were able to display. You were talking earlier about energy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before that happened, I'm calm. When that happened, I got a little nervous because I'm not as schooled as you are with these animals. Haven't done a lot of work with venomous snakes, other than the odd, removing a rattlesnake or actually cottonmouths from someone's pool or home. So talk to me a little bit about the things that are important. Like, yeah, he's got his tail wrapped around the GoPro here, but
But it
we'll
makes
just
you
let him
feel
do his thing.
secure, so we'll leave that.
So
Put a
how?
rock out here for it to get around.
That's so funny. Look at this. Now, how long did it take for you in your career to really start to feel comfortable with venomous snakes, or more importantly, cottonmouths? Because that's what we want to
Well,
talk
with
about.
cottonmouths, when I was about 15 years old, because my summer jobs was catching cottonmouths and selling them 25 cents a foot to Snakeatorium, Ross Allen, and the like, and Bill Haast, and
Okay.
I could catch 100 in a good night, averaging 3 feet long. That's 75 cents a cottonmouth. So, in 1965, when you could go out and your job would have been working in agriculture, loading watermelons or in the tobacco barns for 50 cents an hour, and I could make $150 a night. I had the most money of any kid in high school.
Yeah, and you had a pretty exciting
And
job.
I did, and I loved the snakes anyway. And to be honest with you, I hated to sell them because I knew all of them would die over time at the venom lab, especially back in that time period. They don't now, but that wasn't true then.
Okay.
They didn't care. They were so common. And it's just a shame because they're beautiful, beautiful snakes. But I felt very comfortable with these since I was a teenager.
Now,
I haven't pet cottonmouth for years.
every time you bring up cottonmouth, it strikes fear into so many people,
It does.
mostly outdoorsmen,
Correct.
who are really supposed to understand the outdoors.
Correct.
And one of the biggest things that I've encountered that drove me crazy, and I know it drives you absolutely batshit, to use a term, is that these snakes chase fishermen.
And they
chase
don't.
outdoorsmen. Yeah, and that's what prompted you to do that video,
Yes.
and why we're kind of reiterating this. This snake, I wouldn't say docile, but it's just inquisitive. It's just looking, trying to figure things out.
We could scare it and make it vibrate. I could make this vibrate its tail, and strike in like 2 seconds if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to scare it, and I have no fear of it at all. Zero fear. And the snake picks up on all of that. Just like when you get a person in a group of people, it changes if you have like 5 happy people and one person who's had a really bad day and is in a really pissed off, bad mood, it'll affect every single body else is in the mood, in the whole group. And when you're terrified around a venomous snake, they're picking up that, and you know what? It scares them too. They're scared. You scare them. And when they're afraid, then they want to bite because that's all they know how to do to defend themselves. They're trying to defend themselves, nothing else. And as you can see, the whole time, this snake is just trying to gently get away from us doing this. It doesn't want us to do this to it, but we're not scaring it, so it's not trying to bite us.
Right.
Tom, I've got a healthy fear of snakes in general.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. You would think I wouldn't, but I do. So he's sensing that I'm not comfortable right now.
Probably not at your distance, and you're not doing anything to it.
Okay.
But if you were over here, it would.
Okay.
And if you tried to use this hook, it would become a different snake.
Yeah. Now I was doing a video again on the on the venomous snakes of Florida.
Right.
And we got to the cottonmouth, and I mentioned, oh, this is the snake that scares everyone with the gentleman that I was doing the video with. And we had the snake on the ground. We were crouched down. I can't remember if we were crouched down or might have been standing up.
You were crouched and maybe just standing up when it happened.
And basically, I was just standing up, and that snake, it wanted out of there. But where did it go? It didn't go in the opposite direction. It went between our legs.
Yeah, to get
and
scared.
everyone was like, see, we told you. But no. What was on the other side of us? The palmettos.
Right.
It wanted to go to cover, and the shortest distance to cover was between our legs and into the palmettos.
If you lay down in front of it, it would crawl over you and simply go away. It wouldn't bite you at all if you didn't move.
The other great thing about this animal is, much like a rattlesnake, it has a warning. This animal opens its mouth and shows you it gapes. It shows you the white coloration, why you call it a cottonmouth.
Correct.
Or it's also called a water moccasin. But and it's one of the most amazing things I've seen, because I came across one in the kind of the buttress of a cypress, a large cypress tree. I came across
trapped too.
Exactly. It was coiled in, and I would get within about 3 feet, and that animal would open its mouth. I'd back up, the mouth shut. Go forward. It was like a game. I actually had video of this on my Facebook page years ago. And I was telling them, like, look at this. This is what's great about most venomous snakes. Let you know they're venomous. The last thing they want to do is bite you.
Correct.
Because when the first thing they want to do is get away. The last thing they want to do is bite you, because any interaction this animal has, it knows it may die.
It is potentially fatal.
Yeah. So the fact that I'm sitting here, this is really cool. With the exception of the snake, the drop there.
They've just slid off the hook.
Right.
But it honestly, though, it literally came down like pretty much on my leg.
Yeah, you guys couldn't
can't
see.
see it,
It almost bounced off his knee. He did not react.
And it didn't do anything.
And that is years of training yourself to be that way.
It's just understanding. It's like, I love this snake. This snake is not going to try to bite human beings unless you really do bad stuff to it. And I am not ever going to do that, because I know what scares it. I know what pushes its button.
Right.
And I don't want to scare it. But even then, it's not going to try to chase you. It's going to try to bite and then escape.
Now, some people would look at you and say that maybe you're being a little too foolhardy or too complacent with this animal.
Well, I'm
now,
75 years old, and I'm still waiting for that bite, handling one. So you can think what you want to think, because this person just does not care.
Now, okay, that being said, I know you don't care much about what people think. That being said, you're not foolhardy. You understand.
Oh, I understand.
That this is
no one should try this, because, to be honest with you, you're not on the same level. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're just not. You go out and catch venomous snakes, and you're 25 years old, and I probably caught it literally 100,000 of these in my youth. And I'm sorry to say that, because every one of them were sold, and I caught several almost 5 feet long. And it's just, I've had guys that went snake hunting with me got bit by them, because we had to put several in the same bag and all that stuff. But It's not. It's not. They're not ever going to chase you or to come after you in any way at all. It's just not going to happen.
Well, what about the snake that drops into the boat?
It
from
just
the
wants to
tree?
get out of the boat. If you just sit where you are, it would try to get the heck out of the boat or put your paddle under it and just dump it in the water.
And you also made another funny comment. You have a cash award for if you can get video of a cottonmouth.
Yeah,
chasing
you give me a video of a cottonmouth chasing you, really chasing you, and I'll give. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give a $2,500 trade credit here for any animals you want.
There you
You
go.
won't ever produce it because it's not going to happen.
So the video that Kenan was referencing was one that we did. It's actually,
Right.
to this day, it's pretty popular, and it's a pretty old video of ours.
It's the one where the snake came by him, but not after
Right,
him.
and
Correct.
That's what
it was
people
the
always
six venomous
mistake.
snakes, right? It was the 6 venomous snakes of Florida.
Right.
But of all the 6 venomous we showed, the one that everyone, to this day, the comments don't stop going on that video, and the comments are BS about the cottonmouth, and it's guy after guy saying, I was out fishing, and that thing came straight after us. I was in the boat. It came straight at the boat, tried to get into the boat. Like, I've never, story after story of everyone saying, BS, they attack, they come for you.
Did you see this snake?
I'm watching this, Tom. This is incredible.
Did you see my hand?
I did.
And he was coming towards me out of the table. If I let him go on that, he'd continue to go out of the table. But once he picked up, I was there. Remember, this is a pit viper too, so it sees me in infrared. It changed its the way it was going and went that way. So then I had my hand up there and it wanted to crawl past, so it put its head down rather than up. It crawled down, and then I put my hand up there and it rubbed the side of my head because it's got this shed skin on it. The snake wanted to know what I did just then. Do you see it stop?
Mm-hmm.
It's not afraid at all. It just wondered because I took a little piece of skin off of it, and that's what it was rubbing on my hand for, like the top of this thing. So it's pretty actually content being out because it's pretty used to people. But being honest with you, when you catch a wild cottonmouth and put it in the bag and take it home, 99.99% of them act just like this forever. They just stop trying to bite. And when we used to have that, we'd be in the pits with 1,000 of them, and they'd be all coiled up or laying around. We wore tennis shoes or flip-flops, stepping 5 inches from like 25 of them. And none of them paid us any attention of any kind. The Eastern Diamondbacks, on the other hand, did.
Okay.
It's a different snake, but not these.
That's amazing.
These, even though they're dangerously venomous and certainly could kill a person, this is not anything anybody should be worried about in nature. It's just not. You're way more apt to hit yourself with a paddle and get killed than you are to get bit by a freaking cottonmouth unless you're doing something to it. If I were to grab this on the top now, right now, and snatch it up, it might turn around and bite the devil out of me. If I were to step on it, it might bite me. If I do this, it's not going to do anything except continue what it's doing because I'm a tree. Snakes don't bite trees.
So how do you explain to people what they're seeing? The guys who are fishing and saying it comes after me. I've seen them come after me.
It may
I was
come
out
toward
fishing."
you, but it doesn't mean it's coming after you to bite. It's trying to get away from you. And if it fell in your boat, so what? It's scared. Just leave it alone. If you start jumping around the boat and hitting it with paddles, it's damn sure going to try to bite you. I would too.
What do you think they're going for when they go and jump into a boat?
They're not going for anything. If they're in a tree and you bump the tree and it falls in the boat, they're trying to get away from the boat. They don't know the boat is underneath them. They're not jumping in the boat because you're in the boat. They're jumping in the boat to get away because you are in the boat.
Yeah, you startled
These
them out
aren't-
of the
these
tree.
aren't-
What's
these
under the
aren't-
tree usually is water.
Right, these aren't PhDs, but they're pretty intelligent animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, see how he wants to get in that cage. He can feel all of the stuff in the cage. He can sense it, the leaves and the dirt.
Cork bark, someplace to hide. He
Someplace
just-
to hide. He just wants to get away from us doing this.
Yep. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is
amazing.
really an eye-opener for myself because
But they all act like that. If you caught one and took it to your house
Yeah.
and pulled it out of the bag, it would act like this. I'm just telling you.
yeah, gotcha. We don't recommend that.
No, I don't recommend anybody try to do what I do with any animals because I have the understanding and you don't. As simple as that. You have to understand something called the umwelt of this animal. You have to understand it's unwelted. The term unwelt is a German ethological term meaning every single organism sees reality in a different way. And unless we can understand the unwelt of the cottonmouth, you can never begin to fully understand the behavior. because it's seeing the world a little bit through its eyes, mostly through its heat sensors and tongue, the Jacobson's organ. It doesn't, their eyes have little to do with what they can see or can't see, really.
Joey's got a lot of great words. That
Yeah.
must be like a Nietzsche word. Like Nietzsche
It's a
created
psychological
words that didn't
term,
exist
and
anywhere else,
I'm so glad you brought it up because it's a term I've learned years ago, and I love it. And like Tom said, think about it. The snakes, the way it senses the world is so much different. We're bipedal. We stand real tall. This animal lives on the ground. Its body is in close contact with the ground, so it feels the ground. If you said something very poignant also earlier, when danger comes, where does danger usually come from for a snake?
From above, and that's why I'm sitting down.
Yeah, he made us get down low. We had a whole schooling before we hit record on these cameras. He wants Tom to stand back. If you're going to stand up, you got to stand back. If you're going to be close, you're going to be at eye level with the snake, so that you aren't. Its perception of you isn't as something trying
As
to eat it.
ominous.
Right.
As some kind of a giant predator. Just
Listen, when Godzilla comes out of Tokyo Bay, Japanese people run. That's because Godzilla is 400 feet tall. You see what I mean? So we are like Godzillas to this animal.
We are.
And it's important to really understand an animal's perception of its environment. And that is what Umwelt is. Love that you use that term.
Well, it's
I
one
love
of my favorite terms. I'm an
Yeah.
ethologist, after
Yeah.
all. If I didn't know that, I wouldn't be much of an ethologist.
And that's why we like coming to you, buddy.
I gotta tell you, this at the start of this video, as I told you, I'm a person who has just a natural fear of snakes.
Yep.
So I had a slightly elevated heart rate that I could not control. And just listening to you and watching this animal over the last 20 minutes, I am all of a sudden comfortable and relaxed and feel like I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you actually put me at ease.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not
so glad.
scared at the moment. which
I'm
is
sure
nice.
that's what you intended.
That was my hope, because there's nothing to really be afraid of. By the way, when we're in here, notice the Gila monster's coming out to see what's going on.
Yeah, we got Gila monsters over here.
Yeah.
My heart rate's at 67 BPMs right now,
Yeah,
so I'm doing
I'm
well.
about 68.
Yeah, I'm
So
doing
that's
well
where
right
I am
now.
almost always.
So,
I don't ever get adrenaline rushes.
well,
Ever.
I had one before. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here
Oh,
and
no, I believe it.
BS you.
When it fell.
When it fell, I was like, "Whoa!" That because at the end of the day, remember, this is a highly specialized predatory animal.
And it can be a deadly venomous
be
snake.
deadly.
You can die from the bite.
Right.
So
You're
you
probably
get bit by
not, but
cottonmouth.
you could.
What's the situation if you get bit by a cottonmouth?
Need to go to the doctor and get antivenom.
ASAP.
It's not likely to kill you, but it has a terrific cytotoxic effect, and it'll cause a lot of necrosis. You'll lose a hand or a finger. I took a special forces dude out hunting, and he wanted to be a cowboy and just grab one behind the neck. And just as he grabbed it, gaped, and he didn't go down and just pin the head like we do and get him by the neck. They're easy to pick up by the neck too, by the way, by just using your two fingers to pin the head down and then just slide and getting it. But he wanted to grab it, and when he did, it saw the hand coming and gaped and bit him. And he lost his right index finger.
Now you mentioned something.
See how
to
he's
me.
sit there and he's
yes.
looking at me, but he's not coming forward. Now see, he's doing the same thing he did before. He's going along here,
And Tom,
away from us.
you taught me a few years back about the way a snake tongue flicks.
His tongue flick tells you everything.
Yeah. So
This is not a pissed off snake. The tongue flick is a calm, want to know what's going on tongue flick, curious more than anything else. It actually is not even that upset now about being out like it was. It wanted to not do this at first, but the tongue flick, see how relaxed it is?
Yeah.
If it wanted to bite, the tongue flick would be a lot slower and longer out while he targets.
And I don't know if it's the same
It is with
in
rattlesnakes too.
Okay, because they flick,
They flick
up.
above and
Yeah,
below their
flick
jaw.
above. Yeah, it's
That's,
really
they're going to bite you when they do that.
Yeah, see,
This won't do that so much, but his tongue will come out a long time, and then it'll grab you.
and then the other thing, when you talk about another animal,
And I put the rocks. See how it acts now
Yeah.
with the rocks?
Yeah,
it
it
makes
feels
it more
like-
relaxed
gotcha.
because it has a surface it can cling to with its
Belly scales.
belly scales. It's all about you. It's not about them. Okay? And all this, the main thing I want to say is these don't chase anybody ever. No one has ever been chased by a cottonmouth. I don't care what they think or they saw. It just didn't happen. And the majority of the snakes that fall out in the boats are Nerodia or water snakes. They're not cottonmouths in the first place. And the water snake will try to bite the boat. It has a white on the inside of the mouth. And people, it's a cottonmouth. It's trying to kill us because I scared it and bumped the limb and it fell in the boat. No, you didn't. And no, it didn't. It didn't do any of those things.
This is incredible.
But it's just a happy snake, though.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the snake. It's just. But notice how I don't put my thumb on top of it.
You allow it to crawl.
Why
through
do I
the-
do that? Why not? Because if I could put my thumb on top of it real gently, but if I applied a lot of pressure, it would turn around and want to know what the deal was. Because, and again, everything that gets them from the top mostly.
This has been amazing.
This is really, really
fantastic.
cool.
I feel like you really put a myth, you demyth.
I hope so.
And that,
My
that was
my
your
biggest hope of doing this is not for clout, for picking up a cottonmouth, holding it without that. I've got all the clout I need. I don't care, and I know exactly who I am, and I don't need anyone else to judge me at all. I know exactly what I've learned over my years, and it's been considerable, especially about the ethology of any kind of reptile, pretty much. And some people are going to understand me well, and some people are not. And if you don't, you probably shouldn't have them, because probably it's a good chance it might try to bite you. Notice how the snake is ignoring me?
Yeah.
You know why? I'm a tree. They don't bite trees.
Tom, I really just want to say thank you so much
Oh,
for
you're welcome.
sharing your expertise. And
You want to put your hand right up under us? You can.
No, you know
Put
what?
it right up here.
I mean, it's not that I
I get it.
I'm just.
I get it. Here. Just put your hand.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
right
he's
up.
facing me now, so I'm not going to reach towards him
well,
at this
you
point.
could.
But
It just doesn't matter.
yeah, no, I
No, I
understand.
get it.
It's not a like I'm not.
No, I get it.
I'm not like terrified.
No, I know
of it.
you're
I'm
not,
just
but
saying.
you don't want to be in a position to be bit by it. I
Correct,
get it.
yeah.
And actually, I'm in a position to be, and you are too, almost. And when it's over there,
Right.
it could slide sideways and
Absolutely.
bite you anytime it wanted to.
But again, one more thing before we go.
Okay.
Look at this body language. This snake is not coiled up.
No.
It's not physically. It can't.
Watch it
really
go
bite
towards
you.
me and stop.
Yeah.
Watch it. You can grab my hand anytime you
He's
want
got
to.
his hand about 4 inches from the animal's face.
And look what the animal's doing. It stopped, didn't it?
It stopped everything. It's not flicking. It's just
Nope.
relaxing. Now it's flicking. It's incredible. It's something that I don't work with venomous snakes daily, and if I got a bite to the hand, I don't want to lose the ability to hold my handlebars on my bicycle.
No! And you could.
I know.
Oh.
So I'm not to say you are not respectful. You're at another level of respect.
I have so much respect for this animal that you cannot imagine.
Yeah.
I give this animal all the respect that it deserves. And we keep this here just strictly anymore. I was talking with Morgan about it yesterday as an ambassador animal, because cottonmouths get such a bad. They're like the coyote of reptiles.
Yeah.
Everybody
definitely.
says all the bad shit about coyotes, when in reality coyotes are none of the things that they
That
say.
they say.
And they put bounties on them and everything else, and everybody wants to kill cottonmouths. Stop killing cottonmouths because of cottonmouths. Just leave them alone. Now, since I'm there and since I've been here a lot, he's picked up my scent a lot. He's tongued my hand 2 or 3 times. Now he's rather curious what kind of, what. I don't usually go with him this long out. I just did a video and put him up. So he's extremely curious, but there's not a single thing in his body or behavior. In fact, his tail's just hanging here, as you can see. That tells me that this snake is anything other than totally relaxed, just like me.
He's chilling.
You know what? We get along great chilling together, too.
All right, guys, and I think with that, we're going to wrap this video up. Thanks again, Tom.
Oh, man,
always,
you're
a
welcome,
pleasure,
as
my
always,
friend. I love
and,
being here. Hey,
And
listen,
you've learned a lot over the years.
I have, man. You have taught me quite a great deal.
Well,
and
you've learned a lot yourself, too.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate
And
it.
it shows in the way you keep your animals. I really like
That means a lot, buddy. That means a
the
lot
truth.
coming from you, brother. All right. I'll never forget our trip to Australia. That's where I met him. I had to go
Yeah.
halfway around the world to meet a guy that lives 100 miles from me. All right,
We
friends.
saw a wild kookaburra.
We did, and he was like a little boy.
God,
Just
yeah.
giggling all over. Yeah, it's a kookaburra. We had a great time.
Yeah.
I hope we can do something like that again.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. I'll see you again. Let me know what you think today in the comments below. As always, please do not do anything that we have done here today.
Please don't imitate me.
Yep, that's it. We'll see you guys later. So long.